We are speaking once again with Alejandro Kirk. He's a reporter who's been traveling throughout Ukraine and the newly independent territories since the outbreak of this special military operation. I'm wondering, Alejandro, can you tell viewers, does it seem as though, from your sense on the ground, that when the dust settles here and some sort of solution hopefully is negotiated, will Mariupol be part of Ukraine, or is it going to follow in the footsteps of the independent republics?
Well, the whole military operation has been who its goals been defined as recovering the territory of these oblasts or provinces, Donetsk and Lugansk. And Mariupol is part of the Donetsk Oblast. So that's already the People's Republic of Donetsk. There is no way back from that. So life is being organized as it is organized here, which is a little different, if you allow me to, because I was surprised by that too. In this Donetsk People's Republic, you have a social democratic sort of or socialist social scheme for benefits, health, education, and housing. So that has been dismantled in the Ukraine over the last 8 years since the Maidan um, coup. So according to what we spoke to the mayor, the new mayor of the city, together with getting the city cleaned up and getting the population fed, the city will be reorganized according to the social laws that are in place in the Donetsk People's Republic and not those of the Ukraine, which were of a neoliberal type. So everything will be different, and it's becoming to be different right now as we speak, because they have taken no time in uh, reorganizing life in the city. No, they are not waiting for the war to end to do that. Everywhere they go, even the monuments that are being, that the Ukrainians, the Soviet monuments that the Ukrainians took knocked down, they are putting them back together. It's part of the plan. So, the honoring the soldiers of the Great Patriotic War. So life is beginning anew, and that's the plan: quick, fast, and efficiently. That's the way I see it. I don't know if it will be that efficient or that quick, but what I saw is that.
And how are they able to recover in such a rapid way, considering the war and the devastation that the region has experienced over the last several years? Is it Russian assistance that makes this possible?
Well, basically, there are two things that I have seen in my last trip, which is different from the other trips. Is that in several buildings I saw people sort of neighbors committees gathering together, organizing the clean up of the buildings, uh, getting rid of the rubble, piling together bricks, steel, and whatever rubble there is, and trying to see what can be used now, what needs to be done in the near future. That's on their own civil initiative. They are also organizing themselves the distribution of food. But on the other side, the Russian civil society has been pouring humanitarian aid to Mariupol. So we see convoys of trucks, even private cars, vans, pickup trucks, delivering humanitarian aid to Mariupol, collected by the people in Russia. But on top of that, obviously, what will help in reconstructing these cities is the Russian state. Uh, they are talking here about holding a referendum on joining Russia, and most people I have spoken with, they want that, not remain independent, but join Russia as part of Russia.
Wow. I actually just dropped in the chat, Max, one of Alejandro's reports on the humanitarian aid shipments if you want to play it so that people have an idea of what that looks like.
Sure. Was going to ask about your report from the Mariupol theater, but we'll get to that later. That's something that I was looking into. Let's get this up.
Now we go with our special envoy to Ukraine, Alejandro Kirk, to get a better understanding about what is happening at one of the humanitarian corridors created by the Russian military to help civilians out of Ukraine.
Mariupol. Behind me, a queue of people expecting to receive humanitarian aid from the Russian forces and from the People's Republic of Donetsk. These people are have been the subject of many suffering in the last 3 weeks. Fierce combats have been taking place in this town. Many buildings are destroyed or burned by the combat. They were used as a human shield by the Ukrainian forces and also by the Nazi battalions that were operating here. For the last 8 years, these people did not have the right to their own language. For 8 years, these people under Ukrainian rule were second-class citizens for being ethnic Russians. And now they are afraid. And why they are afraid? Because it is suspected that many Ukrainian spies, many Ukrainian infiltrators are among them, again, threatening their lives. And that's why when we speak to them, they say one thing on camera and they say a whole different story out of camera. They won't say the real, the openly, the truth, because they have lots of fear. And fear, apart from perplexity, apart from this sensation of discomfort, is what we perceive in these faces today in Mariupol.
Thank you, Alejandro, for this information.
So you're describing a lot of like the fear of returning.
And before I move to the next story,
I wanted to, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add about that before we move on to a topic I'm interested in.
Yeah, what I would add is that my perception of that perplexity and fear has been diminishing over the different, I've been there 4 times in 4 weeks. And every week is different. It's more open. People are more confident. People are going to the streets. Some people are already organizing. Capitalism works in the sense that some are selling stuff outside buildings for the neighbors. Some kind of trade is beginning to happen. And so people look less fearful. And this is because the battle is ending. And you don't see, for example, you don't hear, at the beginning, you could hear a lot of machine gun fire very close to where we were. In the last visit, we didn't hear any more gunfire of that kind, which means to me that there is no street fight. But what you could hear is detonations of the planes and the artillery. But I'm told that is ending too, because just waiting for these people to come out of the holes they're digged in.